My name's Anastasia. I'm a clinical psychologist and I work in clinical practice. So I see people for therapy sessions, but I also work as an academic at the University of Technology in Sydney. And separate to that, I have a background as a musician and a pianist. I've been involved with Support Act, delivering some of their sort of mental health workshops and programs, promoting the services that are available, the hotlines, etc. We did some work with the Music Producers Association, and it was things around like, how do we have kind of healthy boundaries so that it doesn't become that work is totally consuming everyday life.
What's your number one tip on that?
On the work balance?
Yep. You're like, I don't know, because I'm always working.
I have no... I think it's like, well, I think it can, for some people, be like really setting aside time consciously where you're not engaged in work. Like if work is so part of your identity, I think that can be a really fantastic, beautiful thing. We've just got to make sure it's in balance with other things as well. And if it's hard to naturally find that balance, sometimes we have to consciously carve it out. So maybe it's like, okay, Sunday is my day where I'm not doing any of this stuff. Like I'm not, keeping up to date with sort of socials and what gigs are happening. I'm not sort of promoting myself. I'm not, editing tracks, whatever it might be. So giving ourselves that time to step away from it. It's like permission to step away from it, knowing that it's there the rest of the time to sort of step back in whenever we want.
Yeah. What do you think makes up a person's identity?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, so there are things that are sort of like fundamental to us that can make our identity. So for example, I'm Greek, right? So we had this conversation.
Yeah.
So me being Greek is a fundamental part of my identity. Now, some people might choose to kind of reject that and not take it on board. I kind of choose to take that on board. Being a female is part of my identity. And then there's things that are values, things that are important to me that make up my identity. I value creativity, so I'm a creative person. We also have kind of personality variables that are sort of, we're born with. Some people are more emotionally sensitive than others. And I use the word sensitive not in any kind of negative way at all. Being emotionally sensitive can be such a wonderful thing. A lot of people in the creative industries are very emotionally sensitive. That's why they're so great at what they do. Some people are kind of more prone to be a bit more anxious. So we know there's sort of some constructs that are very innate to who we are, but then we can also choose to sort of embrace certain values as well.
I want to talk about this really cool on emotional sensitivity and things like that, because my therapist was explaining this to me, and I've ever since this happened, it was only a few months ago, and I've told a few people about it, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best. So I actually kind of want to get it out there because it made me, okay, let me say it first. Yeah. So she was explaining to me the spectrum of emotional sensitivity and where we sit, and she was saying like the top 30% will be very emotionally sensitive, and like artists and creatives, and that's where you'll find them, and that's where I sit because I'm like, I question things deeply, I feel so deeply. And she was saying if you receive certain emotional stimulus, it can hit you like you're feeling physical pain. And then down the other end of the spectrum, like you'll have your plumbers and you'll have your workers and that kind of thing. This changed my life, knowing that, because it made me accept who I am. Whereas like as an artist, because I'm a musician as well and photographer, all the things.
All the creative stuff.
I can't just do one thing. You do go through really hard times, and there's high highs and there's low lows. And then when you're not working, for example, it's kind of like you then, or I do anyway, question why are we here? What's this? And like, what, you know what I mean? Like your brain just does so many things, and then you'll go to work and you're on top of the world, and then do you know what I mean? Like totally. I know you probably get that, like people like me all the time.
I feel that too, though.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's good. Well, that's good to know. There was something like when she was explaining to me, just basically that's who you are, and you don't need to change that, and you can't change that. You just have to look after that, and it's almost like you just have to accept who you are and honor where on that spectrum that you are. And knowing that, and the fact that she was like, you matter, humanity needs the whole spectrum to survive. We need the guy that's going to unclog the drains. We need the people at the top 30% that are going to educate the world on emotions and all those different things. And all of that, when she said all of that, it just changed my life. Like I just went, oh my gosh, I deserve to be here and I should be here. And do you know what I mean? Like all of those. Anyway,
absolutely.
talk more about it because I feel like people need to know this.
Yeah, and emotional sensitivity, like whenever I use the word sensitive, I'm so quick to say like, and I don't mean that in a negative way, because sensitive has been used to kind of like invalidate people, like, oh, why are you so sensitive? Why are you so emotional, right? So that kind of emotional sensitivity has sort of been invalidated within society. You know, society values hustle culture and getting ahead and, you know, not sort of having too many emotions really. But actually, like, emotional sensitivity, having that emotional sensitivity is such a positive in so many ways and can be such a strength. It allows people to have so much empathy for others, to feel what they're feeling, to really kind of connect deeply. We ultimately all want to feel seen and heard and loved in life, and people who are emotionally sensitive can provide that really well to other people. They can produce amazing creative, you know, works of art and music. So there's so many benefits and strengths. Yeah, it can also be challenging. It means that, you know, people may feel the pain of life more deeply as well and have, you know, some deeper struggles maybe than other people. So there's pros and cons, but it's important to remember the pros.
I feel like it's just such a valuable thing for creatives to understand that we all sit somewhere on the spectrum, and wherever it is, you are of value.
Yeah, it's okay to be who you are and to bring to the forefront the emotions that you have. And it's that idea that kind of like emotions are welcome here. You know, you don't have to kind of hide your experience as long as we're not sort of hurting anyone. You know, it's all important.
So managing stress, top like 3 tips.
Oh gosh. One kind of strategy that I love for people who are experiencing quite like heightened emotions, whether that's kind of stress, distress, anger, anxiety, whatever it is, cold water is fantastic. Ice cold, right? So we talk about this concept of the deep dive reflex. So if you imagine yourself feeling like super distressed and you jumped in a swimming pool of water, your blood pressure changes, your heart rate changes, you're holding your breath, you're in the cold. So physiologically, it changes the body. And so we can kind of mimic that a bit. So if someone's having a really bad day and you kind of get in a cold shower, it's hard to feel as stuck in that feeling when you're in a really cold shower. I'm
so doing this. Oh my gosh.
If you're having a bad day, a bad moment, and you jump in a cold shower, like, it's not going to fix the problem, right? It's not going to be the solution to whatever is the root cause of the stress, but it will kind of physiologically help us regulate ourselves.
That's so cool. What is it? Is it doing something in your brain as well? Like, is it
it's kind of like activating that like deep dive reflex. It's more kind of like blood pressure, heart rate.
Okay,
bit of a sort of shock to the system as well. The Support Act have the Wellbeing Helpline, which is a fantastic resource. I've recommended people who I've worked with sort of clinically use it because the people who are on the other end of the helpline know the industry. They know the creative industry. They know the music industry and the art. So I know sometimes I've spoken with clients who feel like if they go and see a psychologist or a counselor, they kind of have to explain how the industry works and the kind of work they do and like give them that information for them to really kind of understand and give context to their difficulties. But with the Support Act Wellbeing line, people already understand that. So you get to kind of like jump over that step. It's free, it's 24/7, and they also have a range of different sort of specific helpline services. So there's one for the LGBTQI plus community, there's a specific line for our First Nations community, specific line for managers in the music industry, and then also a specific line for people who are experiencing difficulties or struggles with safety at work and kind of want to talk through that. So people can call through to the Support Act Wellbeing line and kind of be diverted to the best person to talk to.